I was at a 9U game the other day, and a kid swung at a pitch up around his neck, and he swung and missed, and immediately he was corrected. They said a little bit too high, and the next pitch right down the middle. He didn't swing the bat at all, and he struck out. And in my mind, those things are way too predictable. So hitting a baseball is a timed event, and when it comes down to hitting a ball, you have to understand the reaction time equation. On the reaction time equation, and again, the danger of this is that it's math, and a lot of people just they hate math, but nonetheless, it's true. It's not only is it your movement time, but then you have to incorporate how fast the decision is made. So this is the equation for all hitters on how they move on a ball. Now, what I want to do is I want to address this N, and this N is the number of choices that we give kids. And we constantly work with kids on their swing, we constantly work with kids on their timing, but so few people understand the value of the choices that we give kids and how that affects how they move into a ball. So I'm of the opinion that great hitters eliminate pitches, okay? And regardless of your age, great hitters eliminate pitches. They have this ability to minimize the number of choices that they have. So at the 9U level, I think it's incumbent on us coaches to eliminate a ball. And I've even gone so far as to say we can't concern ourselves with the strike zone. We need to create this smash zone. But as players improve, then the pitchers improve, and then their command improves. So what you eliminate changes. So maybe at 12U, we eliminate the inside corner. Maybe at 15U, we eliminate the curveball. Maybe at 19U, we eliminate the low strike. And all of these things are, they're context dependent. It's not like one at-bat is the same for the next at-bat. We're competing against unique pitchers, unique umpires. It's all different. So when you realize that a lot of the coaching with players, when you start to question that, what you ultimately realize is they don't understand math, and then that in turn leads to how they coach their athletes. So at the risk of losing everyone, I want to explain something that I do in my statistics class. It's called the Monty Hall problem, and it's a really hard thing to understand, but it's basic. So this was a game in the 1970s where there were 3 doors, and behind 2 of the doors were 2 goats, and behind another door was a car, and some contestant would come up, and let's just pretend that the car is behind door number 3. So what would happen is this contestant would come up, and they would pick, let's say they pick door number 2, and then the host would reveal that there was a goat behind door number 1, and then they would ask the contestant, do you want to switch or do you want to stay? And at this point, what once was a 1 out of 3 probability now appears to be a 1 out of 2 probability. And for the longest time, everyone was under the assumption that the probability is now just 1 out of 2. So stay and switch didn't give anyone an advantage. You had an equal opportunity to win if you stayed. You had an equal opportunity to win if you switched. But eventually, what someone proved was if you switch, you actually have a 2/3 chance of winning the car. And if you stay, you have a 1/3 chance of winning the car. So now it's not a guarantee. You could certainly switch and lose, or you could stay and win, right? This wasn't a guarantee, but it was a probability-based assumption that every single time you should switch. So once the math got into the mainstream, the show was doomed. It wasn't going to be a factor in the TV, because the probability said, well, we're going to end up giving away far too many cars, and they discontinued the show. Well, what you realize with higher level hitters and advanced hitters is they execute a similar plan. They get into the batter's box and they have this plan, and sometimes the plan fails and sometimes it succeeds, but they're hoping that more often than not it succeeds. And so when I watch young players and they swing and miss, or they strike out and they slam the bat into the ground, what's obvious to me is they don't have this plan. Whereas a higher level hitter will strike out and they'll casually put their bat and gloves down, and they know that, well, in this particular case they failed, but as long as they stick to the plan, they'll have a better chance for success. So when I watched this tournament, and again, I saw someone get coached on an outcome because he swung at a bad pitch, what you realize is the best way to give people a plan, right, is certainly to understand who it is you're dealing with. And what I realize is when hitters, in high school I was a 3 hitter, and then in college I was a 7 and 8 hitter. So I think I've been in the 3 hole where ultimately you feel empowered by where you're hitting, and then I've also been in the 7 and 8 hole where you feel a little bit of doubt. And as a coach, what one of the best things that we can do is applaud our people down in this area when they eliminate a pitch, right? So if you swing at a ball, in 9U baseball, we have to applaud that. At least they swung. So in their mind, they were trying to eliminate a pitch. If your 19-year-old, if he gets rung up on a low fastball because he's fearful of the swing and miss slider in the dirt, we have to understand he's executing a plan. He's putting a plan into play, and not all plans work out. But over time, if you trust in the plan and you understand that eliminating choices will ultimately give you a better chance for success, then your kids are going to be better for it, and this doesn't speak to how you teach a swing. It speaks to how we can minimize that end. And I know it's math, and I know some people cringe when they think about math, but great hitters eliminate pitches, and we have to do a better job of understanding this and making sure that we're eliminating choices for our athletes.